Hi guys, welcome to the March Buck-a-Block program. So I've already gone ahead and pre-cut everything. This one was a fairly simple cutting process. So our first set of directions, we're going to take one square of each and we're going to put them right sides together. Okay, because we're going to make some half square triangles. So what you want to do, you can use your quick quarter ruler, or I like to use my 1-inch ruler, either or, whatever you've got. Okay, and you're going to mark, so here is our center, okay, with a quick quarter ruler. What's nice, and I'm sorry, I don't have mine here I'm doing this at home. I've got it at the store, and it's only this wide, so it's really nice. What you'll do is you'll mark your two centers, and then you're gonna draw a line 1/4 inch on either side. So what I'm gonna have to do today is use my 1/4 inch marking. And now I'm going to use my friction pen and I'm just going to mark 1/4 inch here. Okay. And then on this side here, I'm also going to mark 1/4 inch here. These are going to be our sew lines. And these we're going to do for all 4 of those blocks. Okay. And so when you're done sewing, so you're going to sew on these lines here, and then you're going to cut down the center. Okay, and you're going to do that for all of these blocks right here. Okay, so these ones, I'm just daisy chaining them all together. So I'm sewing on the line that we drew. Okay, so I'm just going to sew off a little bit. My needle's ending in a down position. I'm grabbing the next piece of fabric and I'm just going to let it feed through. There we go. And that's how you daisy chain your pieces together. So now I've got my daisy chain pieces. So I'm just going to cut the pieces in between here. Sure, don't cut your block. So you can just cut it in half with your scissors, or if you feel more comfortable, you'll just line that 1/4 inch seam up on that ruler piece, and then you're going to cut it corner to corner like so. And we have created ourselves a bunch of half square triangles. She's very specific in the directions on which way to press, so do follow that. And she says don't trim it. I do like to trim off my dog ears though, just because I find it's easier for sewing. So we're going to go ahead and do that with these 4 blocks. For this next step, it's important to read the directions, okay? She wants you to have your fabric right sides up. So she's saying stack these 2, both with your right sides up, okay? So we're gonna line these fabrics up. And this time, we're gonna use our solid side triangle line right here to start, okay? So we're gonna line this up like so. You can see that we cut 4-inch strips. We've got a solid piece here. We're going to cut. I'm going to move this over. And remember now, we're going to flip it and we're going to use the second trim line. Okay? So now we're lining it up like so. We're using that angle and we're going to cut here. The directions have you do 2 cuts, so you should have 4 pieces exactly the same. Okay, so this next step is important, okay? You need to remember which one is your B fabric and your C fabric from our half square triangles. Okay, so you can see I've stacked all of mine with my B and my C, okay? Because now what we're going to do is we're going to use our center beam trim line, but we're cutting off of the B side of our half square triangles, okay? So we're going to, sorry, I've got to turn this like so. Okay, so turn them like this. So now I'm lining it up on the edge of this one here, okay? If you didn't cut off your dog ears, you're gonna have your dog ears still pointed up here, okay? So we're going to cut this little triangle off like so. Okay, so now I've got my piece like this, and that is what we're going to do for our B blocks. So now that I have all of those cut, I'm going to sew my D's, this was my D fabric, onto this block like this, okay? I'm going to use my precision piecing glue so that I can keep it nice and straight. I don't lose my point, and then we're going to have a square again. So this is essentially what all of your squares are going to look like when they're done. You're going to have 4 blocks with D, and you're going to have 4 blocks with E, okay? So I want you to remember to read the directions carefully on this block this time, because the pressing directions are going to help make sure we get everything squared up. She wants you pressing to your D's and E's, okay? So you're pressing to this little piece. I used my starch pen, pressed it nice and flat. Don't worry about this because our next step is going to be squaring, but we want to get this all pressed out nice and flat first. Okay guys, so again, following the directions very, very closely with this block to make sure we don't make any mistakes, okay? So we're gonna have all of our printed fabric here. This is our B fabric. We're going to use our corner beam again, and we're gonna match up our triangles, okay? And we're using this line here to match up on our B fabric, okay? So when we line this up, this triangle piece is lining up on this B fabric and hitting our point, okay? Yes, we're not following this side anymore. It is important to follow this one. And we are going to square it up to 3.5, so don't be alarmed that you're cutting off quite a bit on that first initial cut, okay? Okay, so we know that these 2 sides here are square. So now I'm going to line up my 3.5 inch square like so. Okay, and see here, remember, we've got our point at 3.5, 3.5, 3.5. So now I'm just going to cut off this little bit, and I'm going to do that to all of these blocks. Okay, so now we're going to do the layout, okay? So this is our A block, and then this is with our D's, and these are with our E's. Okay, so this is our foundation color, and this is our Merlot color. So now we're going to lay out our blocks like this, okay? So D is going here, okay? And then E is going like this. And then we've got our D going back up like this, okay? So it's important to follow your planogram on how this is going to all get laid out, okay? So we've got this one, then we've got this, we've got this, and then down here I have D, I have E, and I have D like so. So that is how our block is going to look. And again, we're going to sew our top row, then we're going to sew our middle row, we're going to sew our third row, then we're going to bring them together. Okay, so I have the first 2 blocks of row A done. What she wants us to do with the top row and the bottom row is press our seams open, okay? So by that, yes, we're going to press this open. Remember to use your starch pen, okay? And you're going to get a nice flat seam when we're doing this. So I'll give this a little setting. I'm going to use my starch pen. Get my starch pen primed here. Okay, and we're going to press them open. This is for our top row and our bottom row only. Okay, here is the finished block. Okay, so again, following the directions is really important in this one because this color here, Merlot, is the one that's going around this featured square here, okay? So one of the things that I want to point out again too is on the back. Do you see how flat this is here? Let me get this going like this. Okay, again, that has to do with that precision piecing product, okay? I know it sounds like I'm pushing it a lot, but it's making everything match. Like, look at, okay? So all of these little pieces here that I'm gonna tell you the truth, I don't know if I would have been able to get all of those to match 100% without my glue. Okay, so it's super, super important. It makes a huge difference. Be the superstar that you can be. Happy sewing!